Hi, people. See who's on. Let's see who comes on here. If any. I don't know who's awake and who's not awake. And it's Monday morning. Probably not the best time to do one of these things. Let's see. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Anybody's there or not? I suppose Monday morning is not a good time to do this. So we'll see if anybody's out there. Timing is a bit bad, I suppose, because of the time difference in some of the countries as well. And everybody's not exactly online normally at this time. But I finished my morning meditation and I thought I'll talk about this. Because a lot of people have asked me, and I just didn't want to because I was kind of over it. And I did make a video the other day about the galactic battles and wars and Mars, because there's so much confusion going on around on the internet and misinformation going on around the internet, misunderstanding. Now, most of you are seeing what's going on in The Simpsons, which I find interesting because it's almost selective. People are selecting the part of The Simpsons they want to align with, and then the part that they don't want to, that doesn't suit their belief now or whatever they're bought into, they don't want to. So this part of The Simpsons I believe in, but that part is not really. Selective. How's that? Selecting their truth, which is true, because this is why we've got such a difference of opinion. Selecting their truth or their reality. So now this is a subject I'm not keen on talking about, because it's not everybody's there. So sometimes it's way out for some people. I mean, it's completely way out for them. Obviously, if you haven't, it's like... But for those that are spiritually woken up or had their awakening, let's say, into the esoteric, into the astral, into the... Understand that there's other life out there. Internet's full of it by now, as you noticed. In the last year or so, we've had a mass awakening, actually. So you'll see there's tons of people out there. I'm a Arcturian, I'm a this, and they're speaking light language. They're all over the show. So we understand that this is not a one-off, one flew over the cuckoo's nest event. There are many. There are many out there. And many are awakening to this and remembering. So let's get to some background. What they're doing is remembering lives. Now, it's difficult to say. I wouldn't say past lives, because there isn't a such thing as past. It all exists now. Or it's in the quantum, or in the quantum, everything, all your lives are happening right now. So it's not like a separation. You living one there, one here. I mean, they're all going on right now, right throughout. It's weird. So all they're doing is your DNA, as you waking up. This is why it's happening now, because of the solar flares coming in, radiating your DNA, activating it. It's causing them to raising in consciousness. You're raising in frequency, in vibration, and consciousness, which means you're raising basically in dimension. So your consciousness is raising, and as that happens, oh my gosh, you coming online. And this is why tons of people aren't aware. Sorry. So tons of people aren't aware, what's really going on. Anyway, this is happening on the planet, as you notice, and more people are going to not be able to deny it. A lot of people are quiet. It's once this happens, it's everybody. There's so many people out there with a high level of consciousness now, especially youngsters. They're born with it, so you can't bullshit them. They have a built-in bullshit detector. I love it. So there's no stopping this raising in consciousness on the planet. People will resonate with the truth, and as they're going up, they don't. Still a lot of people aren't. They will resonate. They will just know. They won't have to tap in. A lot of people, when you start waking up, you'll tap in, and you got to psychically tap in or telepathically to someone and try and sort of gauge, are they whatever. And also depends on your belief. It's so I don't want to get. It's so complicated. And as you go up, you'll figure it out yourself. As you raise, it depends on your intention. As you intend to keep raising your frequency, vibration, and consciousness, more and more and more and more will come to you. So let me go back to this reptilian thing. So like everybody else, I did the same thing. And then, of course, you start seeing these things. Now, there's a lot going on. So I made a video, I think the other day, I made a video about the galactic wars. Mars is so much going on out there. And these battles. I put it in a bit more perspective. Because a lot of people are buying, when they wake up, are buying into all this nonsense and believing it's happening right now. And it's on Earth. These things are running around here. They know, like now. Okay. What you don't have to resonate with this. It's up to you. But I'm going to put it out there and as a perspective, and you can maybe you will resonate with it and you'll see it. It's a different angle, which is not really being presented out there. Now, and I'll share, what I'll do is when I'm finished this, I'll upload it to YouTube and I'll share a few links to videos underneath it that gives you more depth. Now, Lorie Ladd did a good video about a year or so ago talking about this issue because then it was just surfacing. And she was talking about this whole reptilian thing. And I think I also made sort of a video, less one, I think a while ago, and mentioning this as well, saying it's consciousness. So let me give you background. I'm one of those people that have bumped into them plenty. I've even dropped into them in a physical aspect. Not now. So I've dropped into them in physical. I can actually, go into the being. Weird anyway, all over the place. And on Mars, plenty battles. I witnessed plenty fighting on Mars. Now, there are many young people on Earth at the moment, which I mentioned in my last live I did. There are people on Earth at the moment that will tell you, youngsters, they're in their early teens. So they must have come in a wave. Mars they're not there running around warring now. So as I'm saying, when you go into the astral, when you have these visions and drop back, you think it's happening now because it is in the astral, right? Those lives and what you're seeing, the battles that are going on, the blade and the fighting is like real, and you think it's happening right now. Like you're on Earth now when you're out of your astral or your trip, you think this is going on now, they're fighting or whatever. It's done. That war happened. Mars is kind of, they were wiped off. And there are children here now that'll tell you that they have come here. They were Martians. They were from Mars. Their planet was destroyed. They have carnated on Earth right now to make sure we don't do it. They had their war and they wiped their bloody planet off. Now, so many of us have dropped into those battles. But when you first wake up, you assume, as I just said, everything's happening now, that these fights are happening like now. But what they did was happen a long, long time ago. We're dropping into past and Earth and things that doesn't exist anymore. You as a human, you are also, what you're not realizing is other beings. So it's past lives that you are tapping into. And this is what's happening. It's not happening like, okay, your carnation now. Okay, this reality of Earth that you're living through, whatever, hologram now. This is another version, another universe, another dimension, another life. Okay, but it's so real that we're mixing them together because in the quantum there is no separation. So it's like, oh my gosh, there are battles going on now. They're running around under here. No, they're not on the Earth anymore. But it's complicated, right? So a lot of people. There's no going back on Earth are able to remote view, to astral travel now. So there's no secrets as well. I say there's no going back. There's no, the dark, dense consciousness, the negative consciousness, the negative, yes, they can choose to be that, but there's no going back because we are raising if you like it or not. And you can't hide anything. We've got the internet, as you noticed. It's very hard to keep dirt, from spreading. And we're trying very hard, but it's very hard to keep the truth or whatever, to knowledge from spreading because now there's the internet, and everyone's sharing. So everyone sort of kind of shares, and it's kind of instant. You can spread the truth. The consciousness, the collective consciousness, we're able to tap into, which is at the moment, they're quite captured. The collective on the lower things. You've got all these people that are able to read, sense. They're intuitives. They're naturally coming in. They're born with this. They don't have to even tap in remote view, psychic abilities. Once you're waking up, you get all those abilities back. As you raise in frequency and conscious, they come to you. But if you refuse it and don't want to, because some have chosen to come here and play 3D, you can say, no, I'm not interested. I don't want to know, and they will not. They'll stay in this 3D consciousness. Dark, dense, oh my gosh, no, you are this, oh, it's evil, or whatever. There's a lot of fear, and as you wake up, you go through all this fear because you don't know. Cut long story short, I'll share Lorie Ladd's, I'll upload this to YouTube, and I'll share her video which explains the consciousness. So once you're awake, this is what you're doing. You are seeing, we are able to, with our third eye, see that draconian consciousness in a person. So what you'll think, oh my gosh, they're possessed, right? They've got an attachment. This is what people say. You have got an attachment. You know, if you people going to healers and to clear things from them, whether, you know, it's demonic, whatever. These people, a lot of these things, they have manifested themselves over lifetimes and thousands of whatever it is, you know, have manifested this dark, dense energy and fear. Whatever you feared, all your worst, because remember, you create your reality. You're a creator. People don't realize you can create dark things as much as light things. So if all you do is focus on and your fear, and all you're projecting all this energy builds up. So you've carried around a hell of a lot of dark, dense energy. Your worst fears are all suppressed. This is what you're going to see. It's in you. Anyway, that's so complicated anyway. So yes, they have. I mean, I came across many of them. We are able to see that consciousness in a person. That's why I say I'll link Lorie Ladd's. It'll give you a lot more understanding if you go and watch Lorie Ladd's video after this. And then you'll get what I'm saying, and then you'll be able to put it in a better perspective. So these consciousnesses, as you're saying, are manipulating or using humans. So they're not here in physical form. They're projecting their consciousness into certain humans because they're not on this frequency or earth plane or dimension anymore. So they were projecting their consciousness and their thing into humans. So when you, like us, tap in or see something, you will see a Draco or reptilian in these people. But it's not physically in them, it's energy, it's consciousness. Anyway, you'll see, I can go into great detail. And I have like many other people, not and why I don't know, you know, looking at what was going on and all this, I was just constantly traveling every day. I was meditating every day, and every day I was gone, poof, out of my body, whatever, I was just taken. And I was all over the planet, you know, with this so-called battle, you know, in consciousness. And that's what I'm saying, it's consciousness against these Draconian. That's what I always said. Remember, look at us, we talk about our leaders as being Draconian leaders. We talk about our leaders, right, as being Draconian. Now, people are running around there saying, oh my gosh, they're shapeshifters and Rothschilds are a Draco, that he's an actual lizard, you know, people. It's the energy, the consciousness that's in them. You know, their behavior. This is what we say, Draconian consciousness. Oh, they're behaving like Draconian. Here's an example. Draconian laws is even a name. They're calling it Draconian laws. It's a very strict rule, nasty. You know, this is what's going on, right? A lot of it's fighting back. That energy doesn't want to give up. Okay, this Draconian power, control, manipulation, whole strong energy doesn't want to give up. So let's just, for argument's sake, though, because there are a lot of people that don't believe this one bit and tell you need to go and repent and whatever else. But I'm saying belief, consciousness, you know, that's where everyone is entitled to their own. And if you haven't seen it yourself, or you think, you know, that you're going to think that person's crazy, they need to go somewhere, they're evil, they're possessed, oh, you can go on. Depends on your perception and your level of consciousness, right? So there's a lot of confusion out there because people are seeing all this thing and, oh my gosh, they're running around and he's a this and that, oh my goodness. But yeah, you're able to see this and remove those very angry, negative. As I say, it's a dark energy. It's a negative consciousness. It's a very aggressive, a very controlling, a very manipulative, a very consciousness. Don't notice a lot of humans out there. Plenty of them embodying this. And if you drop in or have it, if you interact with these consciousness or these beings, you will know exactly, because I have, and I've dropped into them. And wow, their attitude and their behavior is horrendous. You know, it's a very much selfish, control, anyway. And I saw things that are, you know, okay, here's an example. So now this is what I'm saying. You're trying to make sense of it, but we never really thought. If you go and drop into something, which I did, you can't understand why we can't see them, because you're seeing these Dracos running around. You know, you're seeing people, as you say, you know, this Dracos, and we're thinking they're running around under earth because we are seeing them as Draco Reptilians. So we're expecting actual reptilians running around, you know, Anyway, they pop up and they change, and we couldn't figure out why. Now, take for instance when you're going to remove, like healers and stuff, when you go to see someone, they remove Dracos or whatever, these energies from people. Or whether you want to say it's a dark energy, a demonic energy, or whatever, who knows, attachment. Let's say, call it an attachment. They remove this willingly, if someone who wants it removed, from somebody. Some people are aware they have, they picked it up, something in them, something else. It's not their own energy. A lot of us do. We just aren't aware of these things, right? So I'm going to give you a touchy example. I'm dropped into many of these things, many places, oh wow, I was just, but that was my focus. I was focusing on them. I dropped into these battles on Mars, under Mars. I was in these beings. So it was like going back, and it was so strange. It was going back into time. I can tell you what was underneath the ground, where their water came from, their power came from, their power source. I mean, literally talking to that, from that being. So a lot of information on Mars, on the fighting, and its attitude towards other beings and humans, whatever at the time. Very not pleasant, not a pleasant attitude, and many times. So there's many videos. I'll share the links. I did 2 on Alina Danan's shows, and what I did was send her the videos, because all my trips and visions and astrals I normally went onto Facebook so I could remember them, and I immediately went live on Facebook and I saved the videos. So after my talk with her, I shared the links to all those videos. There's quite a lot. There's more than that, though. So what I also did was this is difficult. I don't know how. So we've got to be careful what I say here. But what I'm saying, the government, unfortunately, people can't hide anymore. And people that are doing wrong, whether they're scamsters, whether they're criminals, whether they're even, government officials or people in the government with this very nasty, and there's many, obviously. Of course there are. There are people with high consciousness, low consciousness, dark, dense energy, negative thoughts, bad intentions, just, at the moment, because we've got all of us at different frequencies and consciousness and levels at the moment on the planet. As we're rising, we're not all rising together. It'll probably be unstable energies as well, because you can't all of a sudden take from all the dark from light. It's quite a difficult process. So we're going from a dark, dense energy to a much lighter, higher energy. And, without causing any physical, we've got to do it at a slow level without, I suppose, causing harm to physical bodies and all kinds of things. As you notice, people are really, going through their dark, the collective is going through its shadow. Oh, good Lord. Just look outside. I mean, the fear, the collective shadow, dark night of the soul, whatever you want to call it, is basically kicking off outside there. It's getting quite loud. It's getting quite interesting. So I'll give you a few examples, and you can go listen to some of mine. Now, when I was doing all these, for me, the same thing. I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening now. I saw a lot of things. Wow, I saw a lot of shit. So this is obviously, many of us have been, we just don't remember, lives and battles and planets, who knows how long they were existing for. I went through. I lived through many these fights and, whatever war that happened on Mars. Pretty obvious, besides many other planets. But on Earth, so our people are saying they're reptilians. I dropped in recently, who knows why, into places, I saw things, it's different timelines. I saw military sort of altercations happening on Earth as well. Haven't happened, and let's hope we've jumped, because we've jumped timeline. At the moment, they've dragged humanity. They're keeping them in very low, dark, dense energy, so hopefully they don't drag us back into a lower timeline or that sort of problem. But I saw a military, it hasn't happened, so I've got to be careful what I say. I saw a military altercation happening on Earth, involving the Navy, let's say. Okay. And I thought, oh my gosh, we're going to have a little war sort of, coming up in winter. But anyway, it hadn't. It's luckily, nope. I mean, I don't want to focus on that, and it hasn't. And we haven't seen it yet. So hopefully we jumped that timeline. We skipped that little, issue. I'm using some advanced technology happening there. I was like, oh wow, okay, that's interesting. I saw them using some quite advanced. So we're able to travel into time and back. But I also, talking about these reptilians, I dropped into an underground, more than one time, secret military underground base in America. How? I have no idea, because it wasn't like I even knew it existed. I was focusing on it, I wanted to. But I suppose this is it was all in relation to the Dracos. Everything was in relation to Draco. So obviously this is why. So us as consciousness, as humans in a human body, you're able to see anything throughout all time continuum. We're able to find them. It depends what we're doing here as well. So you can sort of smell them out anyway, who knows. So I dropped into it's existing. I even went to look up, this base exists. Not that I had any freaking clue it did and what was under there. So now I've got a very good clue of what's under there. So we've got to be careful what I say. It's in America, and it's underneath a lake. So there's a very secret sort of base, as far as I want to say. There's a secret base. It does more an experimental and whatever else, more of those kind of black op kind of bases, right? It's based on a small sort of desert type, area. And what's on land is not as much as what's underneath, actually. Wow, I was like, wow. So this base goes underneath this lake, and it's extensive. Wow, it's impressive what's under there. Well, but I dropped in thinking, and I saw Dracos. That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So this is what I say. You see them as reptilians. So I dropped in under there and saw these Draco Reptilians under there with humans working. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, are you thinking they're literal reptilians? We are thinking these, beings are running. They're not here anymore because they couldn't, the density. So, but their consciousness. So what they do is project their consciousness into the human. So that human has an attachment or the consciousness of that Draco. So this is why it was confusing to think, oh my gosh. So I dropped into this military base. Why? I don't know, because I didn't even know it existed. And how I got there, I don't know why. And lots of these things I'm thinking. Incredible detail. Wow, amazing. What's under there? Shit. I thought it was under the sea, because I'm thinking, oh my gosh. I actually literally thought this was under the sea. But it wasn't. Anyway, it's because it was under the water. And then I looked it up. I was like, oh, okay. Anyway. So basically what I saw was this military base and people under there and this Draco. So now we know it's not a Draco, but it's a human that is controlled or manipulated by this Draco consciousness or energy. So this military gentleman got into this. It's like a train, or wow, it was one. It was a very impressive train or something under the ground, high speed, shunted along, wherever they were under there. It was from under this ocean. So this base extended right out under this lake, massive, deep. So this Draco human, whatever, let's just say Draco human, okay, human that's basically occupied or contributed by Draco reptilian energy consciousness. Climbed into this thing, shunted along, then got to a lift. There were two of them. Went up this lift. That's how I knew it was like. So it was quite far underground. Obviously, went now to the ground section. This train took them to where the ground is, where the actual thing. Went up in a lift to the top, to the surface. When they pop out, that's what I say. When they pop out, that's why we think they're shapeshifters. All of a sudden, you're not seeing a Draco because the person doesn't look like a Draco. It's a human. High-ranking, whatever, military person. They got into black SUVs, black, typical FBI type, there's one of the kind of type of cars. Black sort of SUV car. Traveled to, I checked this all out, and all these places exist, and I had no idea that they, because that's why I was thinking, I checked out on the internet that this actually have places. Anyway, so I'm just going to get be very careful what I say. I saw many things. Some things I'm sure that I could get myself, I wouldn't be popular, and I definitely don't want to tell the public because I might be in put myself in an awkward or not so safe position, right? Why I saw these things, I don't know. So any wrongdoing or any dark, dense consciousness and energy, especially happened to be brought to my attention on this planet at the time, because that was all coming to my attention or whatever. Anyway, wow. But it was difficult to make sense of at the time. So these people came up from this lift, from underground part of this base, surfaced up to the top, got in these black SUV cars, and traveled quite a distance and got to this place and had a meeting. Now, had a meeting in a very secret, highly secure room, comms room. It's like a bubble. It was like they ended up going into this room where there's no communication, no comms, no signals can penetrate. It was a special secure room where they could have a meeting where you could hear nothing. It's absolutely cut off. It's like a glass. Who knows? It was especially built. Now with NASA, they had a meeting with Elon Musk. So these two people with Draco, one with the Draco consciousness, serious consciousness, went to Colorado. That's why I looked it up. I didn't know. It wasn't, so that gives you an idea. It wasn't too far. Drove from this place to Colorado and had a secret meeting in a very secure room with Elon Musk, obviously to do with whatever they're going to put out there that's not... There's things that are going up into space that most people aren't aware of. Maybe they don't want... The average person is not going to know what's going on up there anyway. So I was like, interesting. And so I looked up. After my meditation, I went and actually looked up to see if... Because, I saw this. It's like seeing the place where they pulled up, what it looks like, everything. So I looked up on the internet, these places, and they actually exist. And there was one in Colorado and everything. I'm thinking, okay. So that I'm saying, you see things that you just... Wow, okay. So, like other ones I told you I saw, where I saw, as on Alina Danan's thing, where I saw them have meetings, and with, say, Dracos. But I'm saying, we're assuming we see this being with our third eye as a Draco, but it's actually a human. Interesting. Now, I was like, back then I didn't know that. I was thinking, oh my gosh, because you can see them clear as day for what they are. So I saw many interesting things. I saw things going down underneath in China, Dracos under there, very deep underground. Wow, in their spaceships going down under there. So we assumed they were really, whatever. But that's, anyway. I saw so many interesting things. So just to dispel what people understand, when you see this, like you see the Simpsons now, they show you, they pull the mask off. That's what they're basically saying. Because on an esoteric level, you can see the human, the actual being, the soul, the essence, or the energy. This is what you're seeing. The essence, the consciousness, and the frequency of the being. They're not reptilians, lizards running around disguised as people. And personally, we've had some interactions with those things and removed them from people, and actually they'll fight you. Some very, very strong energy you can come up with, wow, to try and, tangle with them. You can get attacked really badly energetically, wow. And some of us have been there fighting some of these things on an energetic level, wow. You do. It's energy, but it's energy. It's all energy. And it's consciousness. Okay, and what you focus on. So if you want to keep focusing on that, you're going to bump into them a lot. And that's what so I'm saying, remember, what you focus on is what you draw to you, what you think of. So if you don't want to be bothered by them, then don't focus on it. Don't think about it. You know what I mean? But yeah. You want to go listen to Lorie's story, it is. So there's many, many things, and things you see, that are, if there's dodgy stuff going on around, unfortunately, like you just have to intend and want to know what's going on, up maybe in space or something else, and you can, say you want to go and see what's going on with the space station or whatever it is. This is what people don't know. Everybody can do it now. And people say, oh, no, this. If you think you can't do something or you're not capable, you won't be able to do it. End of story. You're limiting yourself. A lot of people are going, oh, you can't because they're psychically protected and this and that. Really? Yes, you can. Absolutely. It's like dropping into those beings. This is why people couldn't understand. Oh, you can't go there. Absolute nonsense. Of course you can go there. You're dropping in. It's a past life. It's in the quantum. So I dropped into many past lives. And I knew exactly what was under the ground in Mars and what it looked like, where the energy came from. That was the weirdest things. And they were using gold in their spacecraft back then. But it was as far as the power, not the engine or something. It wasn't to do with making gold like spaceships, like the body of. It wasn't for the body of the spaceship. It was actually for the engine, the mechanical part of it. They used gold in it. Interesting. It had some interesting qualities to it. It was really interesting. So there's many, many things, and this is why I made a video and said, people calm down, because people are getting angry, like light workers are fighting among each other. Many people remember themselves being reptilian. That's why I say, there's so much confusion out there, energies. In past lives, you have been so many things before you came to Earth. Earth is full of people, and you're only remembering a fraction of your Akashic records. So some people are only remembering as being an Arcturian or Palladian. They're forgetting you have been, normally from one planet to another, all of them. But the one that sticks the most in your consciousness, or depending on where you are, on your fear, your focus, is what you're going to, recall. You see, so it was causing division among all these so-called awake people or light workers. Oh, no, I'm Palladian. Oh, I'm this. So, you're not. Now you are human. You came here for a reason. Think about it. As I said in my last video, you came here for a reason. A lot of these young people will tell you, I mean, I've seen one in the newspaper, and there's only one they put there, but there's many people that clearly young people will tell you, I came from Mars, our planet was destroyed, we have come here to make sure you don't do it. It doesn't happen to your planet. They're doing this. So, let's say, now most of you realize that you think you are now aliens, or you think you are Arcturian. I was only Arcturian. I've come here now to help. No, you came here a long time ago. Some of you come here now, like a just incarnated, your first incarnation as human. Some of you come here bloody hundreds of thousands of years ago, actually, to play human. We all chose to come and play, because it's a free will planet, to play this game. It's only one with free will. So we all came. You came from everywhere. So, as you notice, there's a lot of humans on the planet believing they are Arcturian, Palladian, Syrian, They're a lot more than that. Most of them are plenty. And all kinds of planets, lives, tons of them. You've never heard of, you can't imagine. There are so many existences, or we had different types of existences, lives, beings, planets. It's amazing out there. Some, as we notice, are wiped out, like the Lorians. We had many wars, galactic wars, and, cock-ups. Before we rose, we did the same, like we're doing on Earth. This is why they're here, to raise in consciousness and the shift. But before we could, like now, there's big fighting going on between the dark doesn't want to give up. Same thing happened on those planets. So some took the dark road, the war, and just annihilated themselves. So the Lyrians had their war and annihilated, their planet was, the Mars annihilated, war, There's many. You were them. So you came to Earth now. Okay, we cocked up, we didn't get it right. Now you've got a chance again. You've come here again, all of us, to do better in this shift, as they say. So you've come to raise as high, we're going to raise in consciousness as high as possible in this Earth game. Okay? And those experiences are useful to you, because whether it was Lyrian, so don't look at them as bad. Oh my gosh, now you're trying to you're stuck in the past. So now you want to relive what happened on the Lyrians. Oh, they're the bad guys, the reptilians, because they wiped us out. It's a lesson. It was meant to happen. Nothing happens, we all know, for a reason. So it was meant to happen. If you destroyed your planets back then and you fought, it was for a reason. You wiped each other out. Now you all here, your enemies and you, from that time, incarnated on Earth, to use that experience, not to repeat it. Not to go back, oh, it's them, there. No, to raise above it, to raise to a higher level of consciousness. This is really what the actual goal is. So what people are doing is seeing the division again. That's the lesson you didn't learn then. Then you need to go back to that life and learn from it. Because if your planet was wiped out, it's going to be, it's whatever was the most, say, traumatic or the highest, the lowest, as we know, in your cache will stand out. So trauma, that's why you're going to go for past life regressions, because you didn't die, you didn't, a life that you never rose above, whatever, that lesson, you didn't, so it's going to be stuck with you. So whether you drowned in Atlantis, you lost your whole thing, it traumatized you, you haven't fixed from that one, a fracture of your soul, is still stuck, with the deluge of Atlantis when it sunk, or the Lyrian battle, or the Martians thing being wiped out. You see? But we all here playing the human game for a purpose. So then you'll understand there is no good and bad, because the Martians that you fought, are here. Some of them have had past lives being reptilians. Go and have a look at past life regressions. Plenty of them. They're not your enemy now. They're working for the higher consciousness. You've all played as souls. We drop into different bodies, different beings, different energies, different dimensions to experience. And most of us have experienced, you just don't remember, because your cache is not, come up, have experienced everything. That's the purpose of it. At the moment, we are all here. Some of you not remembering, okay, you were Arcturians, Syrians, Lyrians, well, you've been them all. His ancestors, the ancestors. You've just worked your way down. You're remembering the most recent carnations, which will probably be the Palladian or the Arcturian, because that was their grandparents. So yeah, we're learning from our lesson. And this one is more challenging now to try and raise. So we're all here together to achieve the highest the shift. Earth, humans, everything is raising at the same time. It's a massive shift. It's never happened apparently on other planets where we've actually gone, the planet, everything has gone up together at the same time. So we're raising the entire collective human planet, everything, frequency and vibration of everything at the same time. So the whole idea is to use those past lives, not to repeat the mistake, to look to the separation. Because when you start separating, oh, it's them on the witch hunter trying to, then you're not getting the point. All you're doing is going to repeat what you did, which destroyed your planet. It's very, 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 very. So try rather and purposely intend to seek the life where you were the highest frequency, consciousness, vibration possible. Go find that life, because you can, like with any intention, you can travel to any life, dimension, time, whatever consciousness you were. So go, intend and ask your higher self, you, to go travel to the life, existence, whatever it is that you had, where you were the highest consciousness frequency, you attained the highest consciousness dimension, frequency, whatever, vibration. Pull that down, embody that. So it means you need to raise your frequency and vibration and consciousness to reach that. Merge with that and hold that. Try and merge with that and embody that consciousness. If you want to help Earth, and you don't want to see the same mistake you made on your planets, because I see they're repeating this because they're stuck in their old paradigm. So, oh my gosh, it's the reptilians. And that's what I say. You go and see The Simpsons now. And when people see that, they believe these people are shapeshifters running around and whatever else. Yes, they definitely walked this planet back then. We were holding a different frequency and dimension. This planet did have a different frequency and dimension, so you could. Anyway, it was all wiped off and started. So yes, they have, as we know, because we've seen the actual proof and skeletons and bodies and things, that the planet held a different frequency and vibration then. Okay. So yeah, we dropped in, we dropped in from a much higher frequency and vibration into a human physical form. And you could move between them. And this is why you see so much, it's so difficult as you wake up. I mean, you can go back and you'll see so many past lives and beings and things and, planets and this and that. And, it's amazing what you can't find. But as I say, people must stop worrying because they're always looking at the negative and everything's selling you the negative. There is no going back. You can't, once you say, wake up, remember this and that, there's no going back. And we can see the more of you hold a higher frequency and vibration and consciousness, you are affecting the collective. You're tipping the balance on the planet of light, frequency, and vibration. So instead of focusing on the negative and the fear and this and that and division, which is lowering, the more you see us as separate and it's them and, oh my gosh, they're the bad guys, they're the evil, it's just your shadow work. You need to do more inner work. You need to do your meditations, you need to do more healing, clearing, and intend to let go of no longer serves you, all your things, anything at separation. Because the more, this is the whole point, the higher we can unify and hold a higher frequency and vibration and consciousness, we lift the entire collective of planet with us. And this is really what you came here to do. You absolutely did. Sorry, it's very hard for me to read. Yes, because your body is clearing and you're raising and you're going to. Yes. We need to let go and work through all those and leave it. Just think of it. Look, why did you come to Earth? Not to go and carry on with what you happened to your planet and go make sure this is what they'll tell you. No, we want to make sure it doesn't happen on Earth. But you've got a certain amount of veil. And you get less of a veil the higher you raise in frequency and vibration, which is your body. It is your body. And this is why people are going to it. As your body raises in frequency and vibration. So look after the body. Watch what you put into the body. No toxins, no chemicals, no poisons, pure, And the mind, try and keep constantly, raise your frequency and vibration because you are affecting the Earth's grid, the collective consciousness. You're pulling them out of it. It's a very dark, dense energy and raising it. And we will tip. It will. There's no going back. Earth started. Everything's going up. But there are many, many beings and consciousnesses, like, as you say, Draco, there we are. That's what they're saying. Draconian rules. Why do you think we got that? Draconian rules. Rule by do as you're told kind of rule. Like the schooling system still runs by that. It's just, yeah, do as you're told and not what you say, whatever nonsense. This is what you're seeing. Trying very hard to hold the collective down. Okay, because a lot of people want to stay. This suits them. They want to play the 3D. They want to keep that, consciousness, vibration, everything. It's great. It serves them, It's a selfish, it is separation. And it's separation. Well, anyway. Yeah, it's very difficult to explain. It's very difficult to explain. Because a lot of us were taking it so personally. Oh my gosh, and we're fighting the Dracos on the moon. Like the moon. There's another battle. That went on seriously on the moon. It looks like shite now, the moon. You wonder why. And many of us, and we're now really getting angry, taking on this as a personal thing. Because you're reliving those battles like in absolute reality. Which you are, basically. You're tapping into that, and you were living what happened on the moon, and we had some serious battles. Like, wow, shit, as you noticed. So yeah, now what are humans doing? They want to play it out again on the Earth plane, because they haven't figured out or risen above it. They're seeing it as now, and they're looking for them, and there's a battle, and everything's anger, hate, and this and that, and let's go hunt them down and whatever. No, raise it up. We as you say, transcend light, higher frequency. They drop off, they drop away. All we have to do is not fight them, not hunt them, not try and think. They will dissolve. Is by raising your consciousness frequency and vibration, you lift the entire planet, yourself, the beings, everything off. That's it. They fall away. So you transmute or dissolve the light. You know what I mean? As a higher frequency, it almost evaporates them. As you know, if you've done work on the esoteric level to evaporate darker, denser energies or whatever, you will know. You have to just raise your light, your frequency and vibration. It's physics, it's higher. They cannot exist. And this is why they're playing so hard at keeping the humans on a lower, dense energy sphere. Because they're trying to hold the Earth back. They're trying to delay. They know they can't stop it. They're trying to delay the raising in consciousness and frequency and ascension of the planet beings as evolution. Because they love the old paradigm and they're stuck in that dark, dense energy. Oh no, we'd call the shots here, whatever. So, and a lot of people are falling into it because they're giving you because they know you're going through the dark night of the shadow and this whole fear and your things are going to start coming up as you're waking up. They're throwing out boogeymen for you to chase and to hunt down. It's like they did, look at the inquest. Think about the inquest or the Crusades or the burning of the witches, you know what I mean? And that's what they're doing now. They're repeating it. They're saying, oh my gosh, so they're putting out something out for you to focus on and be frightened over. The dark people, there we are. And let's go and hunt them down and, oh wow. Yeah. People need, it's so hard to try and put into words. You've got to, all I can say to you is constantly when you do your meditations, the transcendental, when you raise your frequency and vibration and get into that state, that state of consciousness, being, that astral, that brainwave state, right? That's when you focus. You can use it then to focus on, put your intention, so raise it up into that state of meditation, then set your intent. Okay, manifest. Because that's when you manifest. To raise your frequency, it's the body. Body is so important. People are focusing on the mind. They think it's all consciousness, all the mind. Forget about the body. No. The body is the vessel that gets you there. Because in this game, you've got to work through the body. The body this is why it's happening. If your body wasn't raising in frequency, if your DNA wasn't being activated, you wouldn't be remembering any of this. Your consciousness wouldn't be raising. It's the physical aspect. Okay. Because you're, as a soul, as a being, as a consciousness, you don't have to raise. Your consciousness, you're part of source, you're part of the creator. It is there. That doesn't need to raise. You can't, as I say, it's the physical vessel that's stuck in the 3D energy. And this whole thing that you're playing, this say the avatar. The avatar is the one you need to raise. So it's raising get out in the sun, every bit of sunlight you can get, because that is radiating as you feel it, your You feel it vibrating your DNA and activating it, and intend, talk to your DNA and say, kick its ass and say, you will activate more of it intentionally, activate more, hold a higher frequency and vibration, raise it in that body, raise your every cell, atom, and molecule in your body. You need to raise them, get them to vibrate, tell them, speak to them, and thank them with love. You know what I mean? Body is your temple. And they said that, and this is why the scriptures told you. Okay, it's so important. But anyway, there we are. So as much as our intelligence agencies and services are going to be horrified by the fact of this, they know. Pretty much you can't stop it because it's a quantum entanglement. You can't stop people knowing, finding out and seeing these things. That's why I say they're not happy about this. All that's why they want to monitor and try and control the brain to stop you being able to drop into the things they shouldn't be doing. You know what I mean? I saw some things that shouldn't be happening. I'm like, you can drop into, not that even intend, I'm not interested. So I wouldn't have even intended or thought about it. Or, some of the places I've gone to, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And the energy was really bad and dark and red. Wow. So we've got, obviously, because that's the type of environment, control, ego, very alpha male, right? Military and that whole thing. So naturally, you're going to find a lot of that in the military, which I have seen. And some of the energies in some of these places down there, like, wow, it's so red. It's really nasty. Very much base root chakra. They're operating from that. Everything's about threat. They're living in the future. They're not in the present. They're not in their higher consciousness. They're in the human identity mind. And this is what someone said to me yesterday. Someone was saying, it's so interesting. Someone was saying to me, oh my gosh, I want to get out of the matrix. We must escape the matrix. And I'm thinking, the matrix is here, my friend. There's nothing physical you need to escape. This is an illusion. When you're still trying to change things, 3D, and operating from a 3D perspective, you're never going to get it. Everything will fall away and change. You won't have anyone wanting to fight, kill each other, any war when we raise the human consciousness. Because then, oh my gosh, they wouldn't. Because why? You know yourself, when your consciousness is raised, we're all one. There's love, compassion, unity. You wouldn't hurt anybody else. You wouldn't dream of it. You wouldn't dream of killing another being and eating their flesh, would you? That is the problem. All you have to do is raise your consciousness. We need to raise yours, and if you raise yours, those around you. We need to raise the collective. So yeah, I'm sure it's disturbing. Could you imagine when you're public and everybody's second cousin can basically know what you're up to? It's done. That shouldn't be done. Like I've seen some. Yeah, it's now and I've been rather not discuss that. Some of the things I've dropped into and seen, I'm thinking it's like wow, because war is money. And we. Being brought up to idolize it up and worship it. Look at the things. Remember the war, mustn't forget. Oh yes, we must be, we've been brought up to worship war. Fighting, soldiers, military, veterans. Think about it. It's a massive program. Massive program. It's not exactly, love and unity is not exactly going to benefit that, would they? Or them, because they would have no work, no jobs, no career, would it? No. Yes. Absolutely there's money. Oh my gosh, do I know about that industry? Very much. Anyway. So yes, I've dropped into some interesting things, and that's why I didn't understand, because I was seeing Dracos and other beings. So when you're doing it in that thing, you would see that, say them getting on a submarine, and you would see these other. So I said, oh my gosh, this is interesting. It's going to be a battle. The last standoff is going to be a battle between humans and ETs. Literally, I'm thinking that we're going to be actually on Earth. They'll be joining us in the physical. No, it's because you're doing it through your third eye. I am seeing these beings inside, these humans embodying that consciousness. So I saw a lot of military embodying Draconian consciousness, and I dropped into some places and things that I shouldn't have been in. I'm sure they wouldn't have liked that. And I'm like, ew, interesting, yes, okay. Things that shouldn't be going on that are possibly, and then battles. And you're seeing these these things on space on the submarines, and you're thinking, why are they picking up these, the underground? Oh, that's why people think these underground, they've got these things running around. Anyway, so there's yeah, in different dimensions. Yes, not on this one. They are running around in different dimensions. It's not visible to you, but in our dimension, yeah. But yeah, anyway, I saw many different anyway. And I was thinking, what's going on? Because there you're seeing, the submarine leave its base, and then it's traveling somewhere else, and then it stops on this other place. I'm going to be vague here, because I don't want to get in trouble. Because obviously, I also can't talk about something you see, especially if it's battles and they haven't happened yet, because then I'll be arrested and, in trouble. Because you're disclosing what they will call secret information, or it's a threat to national security. Because you just, of course it could be. So I don't discuss things I saw. So I've seen some interesting things, put it this way. And I'm like, what? And I see this submarine going up and picking up these reptilians and getting on this thing. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, And then they move somewhere else. And I'm like, ew, well, I saw them on ships. Because exactly, we're expecting them to be actual reptilians, and they're not. That's that consciousness or that attachment inside the being, which some of us have had the pleasure of removing some of these things, and them trying to get in you, all kinds of nonsense. You've fought these other things and energies. It's consciousness. Well, very, very differently. No, I'm not. I'm not anything. I am what I am. There we are. I'm not falling into that identification story. There we are. We are light and consciousness. End of story. That's what you are. So if you attaching to something else, that's illusion. Then it's a truth. This is a problem. I am a human. I am a this, and I am. I am a doctor, and I'm a. It's an identity. It's a program. It's a belief. Then we're in the matrix. We're attaching to, whatever. Yeah, let's not even go there. Yeah, you were Palladian as well, probably. Most people were. Or you played on another planet. You didn't have to play on all the planets, but you played on so many. Oh, good Lord. I mean, wow, there's so many planets in existence, and much higher. And we rose to some very high levels of consciousness. We have, absolutely. We've played those beings and walked those beings, and you probably see some in your past lives. And maybe even the first being. Go and have a look at the first being that you chose to connect into as a body. Okay, the first time you took on let's just say a physical body or avatar. That's interesting. Very interesting. We can't say how many billions of years ago this was. We're going back like way, way, way back. Wow. So yeah, it's fascinating. Anyway, so I just want to be very careful what I saw. And I saw some, say, humans that doing things they shouldn't be doing, And I'm sure they wouldn't want the public to know about it either. They'd be like, okay. And so I say nothing can be hidden anymore. And this is probably why they are putting up such a fuss and a threat as well. They don't understand. You see, they're holding on to the matrix, as you say, the illusion. They don't want to let go of the illusion. Because in this illusion, I've got all the money and all the wealth and all the power in this game. I don't want the game to end. This game is fun. It's like playing. Just think of it as virtual reality. So the 3D humans are in this virtual reality where this is great. It's like Monopoly. I've got all the money, the power, the houses, and I don't want to. We're not. This game's not coming. I'm winning. I want to keep this game going. The rest of us, right now, we're leaving 3D now. We're going back to a higher. No. We don't want to do that. So they're trying their hardest to keep the collective consciousness in a lower frequency, vibration, and consciousness by pushing out shit and fear and like another witch hunt. It's working well out there. Oh my gosh, you got to lynch them. They're the guys, they're pushing out so much dark, dense energy, fear, and all this and all. And all of that is dark, dense consciousness. See, separation, anger, fear, hate. Let's go lynch them. That is a lower consciousness. We're separate. So if you want to go and lock them, kill them, anything, that sort of nastiness going on out there, that's just dark, dense energy and lower consciousness. And they're trying to keep it. They want to keep the paradigm. Otherwise they'll be playing by themselves. Could you imagine? Very boring game. There's no one to play with. You'll just be, yeah, that's it. And we will transmute it. That's it. We're going to pull it. They're going to be dragged up to a higher consciousness if they like it or not. But they can, not for a bit. They can stay. Anyway. There we are, people. I hope that it might have been difficult for some people to comprehend. Or, it depends where you are and some people's belief. Some people have chosen a side. This is a dangerous thing about not keeping an open mind. If you're buying in to everything out there, that's my truth. They're the bad guys. You have chosen a side. That's a lower level of consciousness or belief. You've attached to something. Instead of just being the consciousness, being the observer. And then you're watching everything. And you're not choosing an identity. Okay, I am this Palladian. Oh, I am that. And they are the God. I'm the good guy. And I'm the, whatever else. It's interesting. Because then you're closing off whatever, all, I would not say options, all possibilities, all other. You've kind of restricted yourself then. How can you raise up in consciousness if you've chosen, okay, well, that's it. I'm hanging on to this one now. I can't even. But I go back in last year and look at myself and I'm like, wow. I was very in the ego. Wow. I was very in the ego. Wow. And in this whole thing. And we're the good guys. And whatever. I was very much in that thing of consciousness. Yes, exactly. As you're evolving. And as you choose to evolve. Absolutely. It's so lovely. I just love it. Go with the journey. Not the destination. The journey is just amazing. We came here to do this. We came here to do this evolution. And the sky's the limit. No, there is no limit. So you are the only person holding yourself back. You can choose to raise your consciousness, frequency, vibration as high as you want. Because now there's new energy. That roof, that ceiling has been removed. That held you before in this dense energy or whatever else. Now you can raise your consciousness, your frequency, your vibration as high as you want, people. Nothing is stopping your intention. You can control physics. A lot of us do. We go around, you can merge with the water. You can you can affect the weather. Become one with the elements. There's no limit to what you can do. Intention is there. For the good. Your intention is, you will be limited, I think, to a certain extent, especially if you intend, because that's a lower consciousness, because you won't be able to get there. If your intentions are negative, to use it, because remember, that is not a negative, it's a higher consciousness energy. There's no ways you want to try and use it for bad, to do harm, because you won't get there, because it is anyway, so you don't have to worry. So you raise if your intentions are good, from a place of pure love, kindness, and compassion, your consciousness will raise. You will be able to have those abilities because your intention is not trying to use them to harm others. See, that's it, because that's separation again, a lower level of power, control, ego. That's what Atlantis did again. You get to a certain amount of power and then you're like, oh, this is fun. Now you can manipulate and control other things. Ego. You've got to lose the ego. Whatever. But every being has come for different experiences. So some will experience that. They want to experience ego. They haven't done it before. You see, they've come from higher consciousness into lower as well. So we've come to play. Oh, let's have a fun of what ego is like. And well, whatever, Go look at your Akashic records. You know yourselves. You wanted to experience. You've been a murderer. You've been a victim. You've been, whatever. Wow. Yeah, human and non-human. There's not much, pretty much. Think about it. If your source come from all that is, there's no such thing as time, right? No one can say how long your soul is that old. Eternal. You can't even begin in this, especially in this, until we're now back with source. Once you run with source, you know everything and see everything again. We know that because we go back there. You know and see everything. Everything. So yeah, our souls, I can't imagine. It's just incredible. The moment while you're in this game, we are not accessing our full, consciousness, where we know because if the game's over, then of course we know everything. We know exactly what's happened and what's going to happen after this, because it's already happening. You know what I mean? Our future is already happening. It's already carrying on. It's just wow. It's so amazing. I just think it's amazing. And if you keep your mind blank and have no beliefs, don't buy onto anything, just be open. Be an open vessel. So you're not choosing a truth, you're not choosing a thing, you're just there, just being. And wow. And just go with the evolution and the flow and the journey. It's such an incredible journey of consciousness. It's mind-blowing because you never stop learning. You never stop higher understanding. Your consciousness just goes up and up. It's just is. Yeah. Well, that's another thing. Yeah. Well, you will obviously stand out. You won't have. No, but then it's not because you have love and compassion. So you understand where they are and you love them and you see them all. You love them all. You'll know that they come here to play. They're playing a role. All they're doing is like a stage. So you will see all your brothers and sisters as God or as beings, as beautiful angels, no matter what they are, the man on the street, the bad guy, the good guy, the bigger, the ugly guy, the nice, pretty woman, whatever. You'll understand they, like you, have come down in this life and they are now working something or chosen to play this, to experience that in this life. That's all it is. That's all it is. Then you will love them all no matter what. And you'll think, that's interesting. You'll just think, oh, that's interesting. They're choosing to experience being nasty or to learn compassion or to be, whatever. Or doing it for someone else. They're playing the bad guy for somebody else. Meditation. Raising consciousness, seeking to raise consciousness and the knowledge and the wisdom, or seeking it. So it depends what you focus on. What are you seeking? Are you seeking to raise your consciousness, to your wisdom, your knowledge, or are you seeking to go back to attain mastery? They're consciousness, energy. It's a consciousness energy that are held. It's being held inside people. Through people. So in order if you want to play in this game, you need a physical vessel. So your consciousness is now inside another human, a physical vessel. Whether it's an attachment, whether they willingly chose to play this, whether they got in because of childhood trauma is a very good one. Childhood trauma is, because that person's then it's very easy. So if you want to look for them, you'll find them inside humans. A lot of them that have had real childhood trauma, early childhood trauma, because that's dark, dense energy of fear, and they're touched, and that's how they, yeah. You've got to be in that frequency and vibration and that thing in order for them to resonate, to be able to attach or to even, there. So you have to have that, you've got to embody that hate, anger, fear, all those things in order for, what I mean? For you to be useful or for that consciousness or that frequency vibration to resonate. But if you raise, I said to people say that, they're frightened and oh my gosh and there's demons. Bullshit. Get rid of your shit because it's what you hold inside you. If you have no fear, you've cleaned up all your darkness, your hate, your anger, your past life, whatever nonsense you haven't cleared, energy and shit you've manifested, your deepest fear, and to become this dark, dense energy, you've got to clean your vessel of all your dark, dense energy and stuff. And your mind. And then you raise your frequency and vibration above it. You're not even resonating at that. So you won't see them. You won't bump into them. You won't be anything because that's it. Yeah, I don't want to go. I don't see it's personal. So you don't want to explain the person's story because it's what happened to them. Someone I know very well. And it's funny, when I look back and I realized, because I was shown when this person came to visit me, before they came to visit me, that they had a very dark energy, they're manipulating them. And I thought, oh, they're very 3D. How am I going to explain it to this person to be able to remove this thing? Because they're going to not, And it put up a fight. Oh, it definitely tried to not allow them to do this. Oh, yes. It took me a bit of wangling to try and talk them in a way to allow me to remove this thing. They were actually aware it was there. That's the most fascinating thing. They told me when they were 12 years old, and they had, my battery's flat, they had childhood trauma and stuff, right? Really bad. And at this time, so they had a very dark, and they were in a lot of fear. And they knew this thing, they knew something was in them. Because when they actually told me, when they looked in the mirror, something looked back at them and they were frightened. They saw the eyes. And I asked them to describe the eyes to me, because I knew. They described, I showed pictures, reptilian eyes. They knew, and they pointed out the eyes. And they said they knew this thing inside them. That's why they weren't frightened of anyone. It was like seriously angry and whatever. And they knew that they weren't scared of nothing, because they knew what was inside them was far more dangerous or more whatever than this, So it attached to them as a child. And when I look back and see the difference, you can actually see how that child changed. Wow, interesting. You can see how manipulative, angry, aggro that child, it absolutely had manipulated them. Because it's almost like they had a complete personality change, energy change. Angry, aggressive, nasty, this, that. I mean, really. Rage. Huge amount of rage, there we are, another one. So that's why I say childhood trauma, rage. That is the same frequency. It attaches, draws to them. So this is how this thing got in. Absolute terror. The person was terrified and they knew it. It was so strange. So it had been in them all this time. And when I came to see them, and obviously this thing now doesn't want to, its nose, it doesn't want to come out. It's like, no, try to stop them letting me do this. And I was like, no, what do you want to do? As I go, no. So eventually I talked them into, allowing me to do this. It actually took me and a friend. Because the first one, there was more than one attacked me. Wow, I was so tired after, tackling, getting rid of the first one. I was so flippin' exhausted. I was like finished. It took me half an hour to recover my energy. It was like, wow. And then there was a little reptilian hiding in there, trying to actually very much, not be noticed. There's like, out, get out. Yeah, wow, it was fascinating. It's consciousness, it's energy, because so you can project, you can be somewhere else, another plane, another dimension, another whatever. Like we can, same with that, like when we do healing, right? Open up the portal, we pull in angelics and things and beings. Now psychics and other people, when we're doing this, can watch us do it and you see it. You can see, I've got a drawing when a healing I did on someone with their will. They came to see me, they had a problem with their, obviously, they completely wanted this and they were completely open to it. So I consciously asked, because you have to intend, they have to ask your permission, pulled in these other energies and angelics to help with their higher self, mine, all of them, everybody want to help pull in to come. And this, two people actually told me, I made a video about what happened, and they said, yeah, I saw this, and they sent me the picture. The person I did the healing on with, now this is so strange, said one eye opened unconsciously, without even them. It was like someone else was doing it. It wasn't them. Because I had them lying down, and anyway, long story. One of their eyes, while I was busy with, apparently opened. Well, maybe it was a third eye. Maybe they, because how they would see it is like they can see something they wouldn't normally see. So I don't think it was the actual physical eye open. You see, they don't get it. They're not misunderstanding, because they're not in this level of consciousness. But they saw. Now they said to me, strange, while you were doing this, my eye all of a sudden, unintentionally or whatever, without their, so it's like somebody else was doing it for them, opened their eye and they saw this blue light coming through my head and this thing around me. And they were like, wow, what the hell's going on there? They were a bit like, what, like what? And a psychic, very good clairvoyant and person or whatever in Australia sent me a drawing, said, yes, when you heard my video and said, oh, by the way, I saw this and this is what I saw, and sent me a drawing of the same, of these beings, lights, energy. So you had these angelic, like seriously, what energies? So they saw, because you're opening it, you're allowing them in, it's energy. So they saw all those energies that came to help, to heal, and this light coming through you. More than one person anyway. But this is what happens. It's a kind of a portal that opens. Other healers will tell you sometimes, when it depends who they're working with, they do this healing, that portal or that energy opens up in their house or that room, or that it does. And you are letting this energy in. And you can see it. It's amazing. And it bloody works. You're channeling some serious energy there. Anyway. Interesting, what can I say? It's just, for me, it's absolutely fascinating. It's absolutely interesting. It's amazing. And if you're open to it all, it's just so incredible. It's an incredible journey, and you've got to be thankful. What people think, oh, I'm stuck here. This is a matrix. I want to escape. It's them. I'm a victim. Then you're still in that lower consciousness because you're believing you're, So, so many people, oh, it's them, we're victimized, we've got to get out, it's them. That's what I'm saying. They haven't done the inner work. You're a victim. You haven't got the power. They got, oh, well, I'll say. They don't get out of it until they raise their consciousness. No one gets out of this. The only way out is in. Very true. So if you want to get out of this, go in and you'll be out of it. And nothing will touch you. Nothing will bother you. Whatever goes on around you, you'll be untouched by it. It's almost like it's not existing. It's on another plane. Literally it is, because it's another frequency. Anyway, there we are, lovely people. I've waffled on enough. I'm thirsty. And we went off topic. But yeah, I don't like sharing those. At that stage, I was sharing all those journeys and all the fighting and what the reptilians are doing and this and that and what was going on. Oh, wow, did I share, lots of things. And I dropped into the being. So I was telling you from that being. I mean, that was the most arrogant. It was on Mars at the time. This being was the leader, was the matriarch, was the king, was like the queen, whatever, right? On the planet. It was a nasty, nasty piece of work. Wow. Really, what? I mean, wow. It had such a really, really nasty, dark, dense consciousness, as I described. And it actually, as I said, it reminds me of beings on this planet, which some of these beings have embodied. So some of these beings, right, consciousnesses, left, say, or wiped off that planet, decided to stay negative, whatever. A negative consciousness, right? Control. What they did was then take their consciousness when they were not able to be on the earth plane anymore, in our 3D existence and game, but you could, through the consciousness they could travel through, was putting their consciousness and controlling our leaders, or some people. As I said, a lot of people that are on this planet are very similar. Yeah, and if you talk to those souls when they leave, they are very angry and very entitled, extremely entitled. How's that? That's the way I can put it. They're very entitled. I am, and how dare you? This is pretty much how this being felt. It's horrendous, but it's fascinating going back. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands or millions of years ago, as we know, look at Mars, all the ruins. This was on there. But this was the matriarch at the time. Anyway, yeah, it's very weird. It's difficult because I've also dropped into things now where there's been meetings now with people on Earth, right, that are now, doing things. And they've had meetings with these beings. And I assumed that they were meeting an actual Draco from Mars. But so I'm literally thinking, oh my gosh, this being, reptilian from Mars, was here on Earth, or whatever. It's not what they were doing, as now I know, it's a consciousness, it's just not, it's only visible there. We see that, we see the true consciousness, or what's inside them, with our third eye. They were meeting with beings from here, never mind. I'm going to be very careful what I say, because, they're still running around on the planet, these humans very much have a lot of power and a lot of control. And one of them left the planet not so long ago, and I talked to their soul. The soul was extremely angry at me, very angry with me, because I was basically saying, you're not coming back, to play this one at that level of consciousness anymore. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You guys must go and do your own astrals and remote views and trips. Your soul will guide you. Whatever you need to learn, I don't know. I went through all kinds of strange things and stages, and I don't know. You just got to follow your journey. That's all I can say. And mine took me through all kinds of dimensions and things and portals, and I went through a black hole. I went through the black hole. That was fascinating. Wormholes, other planets, other galaxies, beings, and I've never even seen. Some of the things, I presume it was Earth, some before humans. Oh, bloody hell. You're trying, I don't know why you don't worry about it, because when you leave this physical vessel, take a break from this avatar, this game, you remember everything, absolutely freaking everything. And you also can see, you can see your past, what you're going to call future lives. And I'm so freaking excited because I've got such... Well, I saw more than one. One I'm very keen on, though. Is one I actually wanted in this life. Actually, exactly what I wanted in this life. It's a parallel life. It's a life that I wanted now. And, you know, with the programming and beliefs that I was born into. No, you can't. Oh, don't. So I never followed my dream or my passion. Oh. So I saw this life and I'm like, oh, yes. So it's a break, because this one was a very hard life. This was a challenging life. I chose to go to the darkest of the dark. So I chose to embody or go into the lowest, densest energy and consciousness in this life to raise to the highest. Wow. I mean, really, like, I can't say it's advisable to do that. I nearly didn't stay on the planet more than once. I nearly left the planet physically as well, because my health took such a... Yeah. So I went into the darkest, deepest consciousness on the earth to experience and understand it. And wow, it was very hard. Wow, I got in such dark, dense energy. To climb out of it was, you know, some people don't. I almost left the planet more ways than one. And then chose to go... So probably, as we know, nothing happens by accident. Insanely agreed to this before I, you know, took this carnation or this thing. So I chose to go into some of the darkest holes and consciousness and then rise out of that into the highest consciousness. Very, very hard. You can do it. You can absolutely freaking do it. It's pure intention with your heart. You really mean it. You ask for that help is out there. You can only go as low as you can. You can go so low sometimes you can't go. Oh, you think you can't go any lower, but yes, you can. So I got the lowest, darkest, densest place. I was in such a dark hole. Eventually, my poor health was also, wow. Yeah. Which I'm working on that at the moment, still. So yeah, I was going to die, actually. I told you people, I did see my death. I was going to leave the planet. That's how much damage was done, even to the physical, because emotional is physical. So the same thing, whatever. There's so much damage was done to this physical vessel that this physical vessel was leaving the planet. So I'm still here, and I'm freaking enjoying it. I extended my stay on Earth, put it that way. I'm loving it. As I say, I've got to deal with the old bodies now aged, and also, you know, took an extreme lot of problems to it. But you can. So if you are in that dark, dense place, yes, me too. I'm freaking enjoying it. But I think, well, it was a challenge. Wow. So if you, but that's experiencing both sides. Exactly. We experienced the highest of the high. We came to experience the lowest of the low, the darkest, densest energy. Oh my good grief. And it can be very dark. And it's to get you out of that darkness, because you completely cut the light out. It's very difficult, people. Where you're in such darkness, you can't see the light. But you can if you call on it, especially now. So anyone in that dark, even a black hole, the black dog, whatever you're in, you call on it with your heart. You really mean it. Your consciousness. So it's got to be a belief. You really, from your heart, from your mind, it's what you, from your core, your heart. I mean, your depth of your soul. You want help, or you want to get out of it, or you want to change, or you want to quit your whatever you're in with addiction. I'm talking, I don't know who's out there, whatever issue you have, whatever fear you have, whatever crap you have, all you have to do is intend. Show me how to get over this. Show me how to change this. Show me how to change my circle. Show me what I'm doing wrong. Show me how to heal, how to forgive, whatever you need to do. Ask for it. Don't expect it to happen instantly. You've got to mean it, work on it, and you've got to start doing it. And believe me, that help and that energy will come along. You've got to take that step. It's intention, you see. Thought, intention, deed. So start doing it and you will see. Your life will change. I mean, wow. The help will be given to you. So you can call on those. You can call on that as angelics, as angel, others, whatever you want. But ask for that help. Intend it. Start doing it. Start meaning it. You've got to really mean it. Trust me. You'll see. Nothing is impossible. You can be taken from death's door as well. And people have been completely cured. So it doesn't matter what it is, a physical, mental, whatever it is, that energy you're stuck in, belief, fear. Most people, it's here. The mind is so much dark, dense energy. Well, horrendous. You've accumulated. It's all those fears and stories and horror movies and whatever crap you've taken on from the external, you see. Yeah. There we are. So I'm just so freaking happy. Every day I wake up and I'm still here. I'm like, thank you. Thank you, thank you, you know. And I thank all my ancestors and all the me's that were here before me to get me to that. It took a lot of work. How many incarnations you go, you know. So yes, I am so thankful, you know, to all my ancestors. I mean, there's Akashic human and non-humans. It's all part of evolution to get me here. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you can. But some people are in very dark, dense energy, remember. There's such dark, dense energy. The light can't, you know, it's not, there's no light. They've got to increase the light so that it's not penetrating. But it's because it's they, the ones who intend it, who are holding their belief, their energy. They can't see the light, or all they see is darkness because they're in the darkness themselves. They've got to rise themselves out of it. And the help's there if they want. Big time. Anyway, onwards and upwards. I know it's awesome. That's my intention. So I'm so grateful. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. That's it. It's just, I am. You know what I mean? I am. And I say every morning, you say that to yourself as well. All is good with my soul. I thank you. And all is good with my soul. Your soul, it is. It's just, wow. Everything's so good with your soul. And you're just happy. You're just grateful. You're loving the experience, the lessons, the everything. You know? It's just awesome. So grateful that you're here for the shift. Because we chose it. We absolutely chose it. But now take control of it. It's up to you. So I'm so chuffed to be here to, you know, and to do this. And I intend to do my part. I intend to raise my consciousness as high as possible. Absolutely. The highest it's ever been. I'm going to raise it there before I leave this planet. Before I leave this body. And then I'll leave the body. And I intend to control that as well. So I intend to decide when I'm leaving this body, which I have. And how. And that's it. So you can also control that. You can decide, literally, I'm not joking, you can control your death and when you will leave and how you will leave as well. It's awesome. And now I just want to help people. So I'm enjoying it. I want to help Earth and people and also be the energy. So, you know, we're staying here. We are holding. So you, just by you being on the Earth plane and that level of consciousness and frequency and vibration, you are raising. So think of us, all of you out there that are holding more light, more frequency and vibration and consciousness. We are maintaining that grid. We are maintaining that. We are anchoring. We're pulling Earth all the time into a higher frequency, vibration, consciousness. So this is why I'm still on the planet. Because it's needed. When I'm no longer needed, I'm not here. That's it. Because remember, on the other side, we're all one. There's no separation. So you are working as source. What's for the greatest and highest good? Not only for you, for all. Because we are all one. We're all together when you're not in a physical body. This is why the frequency and vibration and consciousness, it can't be measured. Because it's eternal. It's wow. There is no beginning and end to source, to creation, to the energy, nothing. You cannot measure it. Think about it. Because if all of you are part of it, of source of the universe, every atom, every molecule, everything, right? Everything's energy. So every bit of energy out there, wow, it adds up to one huge, massive amount of energy. Think about it. All these batteries. Can you imagine? Every one of you is a battery and you fit into one. Can you imagine how much power you use? I'm trying to put it in some sort of explanation. So that's it. So what's ever for the greatest good, it's also for the collect, for what our mission's not Earth. We've got a mission beyond Earth. Earth is part of the plan, but it's not you know what I mean? It's temporary, same thing, like other planets. So once we finished here, that's why it's important here. We do to get this as high as possible. It's to fix what we do here affects everything. It affects the galaxy, universe. There we are. Anyway, there we are. I've spoken enough. All right. So I'm loving it. And you ask for divine guidance and you'll be guided. You'll be guided to do whatever who knows, you know. Sometimes you don't need to do anything because we often feel, I was doing a lot in the beginning because I intended that and wanted and think I had to, you know. So in the beginning I was doing a lot. Now you realize that you always ask. because it's free will. So you can say anything the Gaia needs help with, if any assistance Gaia needs, because she's physically going through this ascension shift and trouble. You or humanity needs help, I'm here. So you offer yourself your services as a being and allow them, I'm here, show me if anything I can do to help. And that's what I ask. And if there's anything that the universe or source or whatever needs, help with, I'm shown it, or I'm given it, or, you do it, or you find yourself doing things in your astral, or you're pulling energy in, or whatever. That's it. I don't try now myself and I think I'm the it's like a game. You want to play the bad guys and you're going to go off and you want to, destroy this or kill, whatever. That's separation, and that's ego again. Then it's me, I'm the, But that's just me. All right. Waffled on. Love you guys. You have a beautiful day. And keep the vibes high. Keep the happiness. Keep love. Keep gratitude. Keep peace in your heart. All right. Because that raises your frequency and vibration. In your mind. So try and get the mind to stay quiet. And if it does, think positive. And just be love. Be, happy. Then raise your consciousness above your mind. Every time it drops into the mind, open that crown chakra, get out. All right, love you guys. Bye.